Yes! Merry early Christmas and happy Festivus. We're going to be doing a Festivus celebration today here on Donno Daily because December 23rd, my friends, December 23rd is the day in that famous Seinfeld episode from the late 90s. It was called The Strike. That was when Kramer went back working for H&H Bagels after a decade-long strike. George Costanza, he recreated the fake holiday that his father, Frank Costanza, had invented. We are celebrating Festivus today because in Seinfeld that took place on December 23rd. Merry Christmas as well to everyone in there. And I do celebrate Christmas, but we throw in some Festivus theatrics every now and then. Andy in Scotland is in. Hussam Patel, who's going to be joining us in about 13 minutes, is in. Brooklyn Rob, I've seen him in the chat already today. Evening to Brooklyn Rob and evening to Andy. Afternoon for most of you watching Eastern Standard Time, but our guy Andy in Scotland across the pond, it's a little bit later at night over there. So in addition to not only airing my personal grievances, we're also going to have grievances from the viewers who have been tweeting us today. We've got a handful of very good ones we will air out. I do want to talk plenty of Miami Dolphins today. We're going to accomplish that big time, man. Hussam Patel is going to join us around 3:10. Brandon Ligori from Fin Maniacs is going to join us around 3:45. And then in between that sandwich of awesomeness, we're going to have the anti-mush. Barry Barger from BetUS.com is going to join us around 3:30 today to give us some winners for the holiday weekend. So that's going to be a good one as well, my friends. So, yeah, as always, guys, pump up the live comments. The live chat is open. It is always open. Make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to 5 Reasons Sports. And make sure you're supporting our sponsors. The official sports bar of Donno Daily on the 5 Reasons Sports Network is the Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill. We have 5 Reasons watch parties out there often. It's such a good time. They have patios at most of their locations. They've got unbelievable flat screen, high definition TVs covering every walls. It's a great place to watch a big game, and it's a great place to watch a big fight. They've got every UFC pay-per-view at the Quarterdeck. For zero cover charge, you pay absolutely nothing at the door to watch a UFC pay-per-view at the Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill. The seafood is delicious. The sandwiches and burgers are great. The baby back ribs, and guys, it's a great place to wet your whistle. They've got 2-for-1 happy hour that literally never ends. 2-for-1 happy hour all day, every day at the Quarterdeck. Come for the food, stay for the fun. And yes, the official sports book of Donno Daily. We have converted so many people to the amazing world of BetUS.com. BetUS is the 3-decade leader. They are America's favorite sports book. You can get action on anything you can imagine, including live betting. They've got a full-service casino on the site. You can play blackjack and hundreds of other games for real money. It's like having Las Vegas in your pocket. BetUS.com is the most trusted brand. And guys, we give you the best bonus in the industry. Give the gift of free play money. Sign up yourself, sign up a loved one. And when you make your deposit, when you sign up at BetUS.com, use our show code for a special gift, 5RSN125. Sign up with our show code, 5RSN125, and they're going to give you a 125% sign-up bonus. You're not going to find a bonus that good anywhere else, my friends. 125%. You bet, you win, you get paid. BetUS.com. So on this beautiful Festivus afternoon, the main grievances that I have today, I've got a couple of sports-related grievances. I've got some non-sports-related grievances as well. And I have been promised by our first guest of the day is going to be Hussam Patel. And Hussam has promised me he's going to have a rant today. So I am excited for this. Merry Chrysler, Hussam says in the chat. Chrysler Town and Country. Merry Chrysler to you too as well. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now you got to hear about it. Guys, not a day goes by that I don't think about how the Miami Dolphins got robbed blind by a certain individual who allegedly plays wide receiver, although we really haven't seen it this year, decides last offseason, I'm going to gamble on myself. I'm going to sign a 1-year prove-it deal. Come on and pay me $10 million for one season. And unfortunately, if you can't spot the sucker at the table, you're the sucker. And the Miami Dolphins were the sucker at the table because they signed Will Fuller. Will Fuller signed to a 1-year, $10 million deal with the Dolphins, and they are paying him $10 million not to play football. It is absolutely obscene, and it's absolutely absurd. I've never seen someone miss like 13 weeks with a finger injury, and he had whatever his personal issues were. I don't know how serious that was, so I shouldn't really comment. But this guy has accomplished nothing as a Miami Dolphins wide receiver, and he is robbing the front office blind $10 million. And you know what? The more that I think about Will Fuller, who's got to be one of the biggest free agent busts in Dolphins history, even though it was just a 1-year deal, the more and more that I think of Will Fuller, honestly, guys, I feel really bad for all the times on this program that I have ranted and raved about Duncan Robinson getting paid $90 million to brick shots. I feel bad about this for a couple of reasons. Now, number one, old Dunk might actually be snapping out of his funk. There's no more funk for the Dunk. Like, he's been putting together some decent performances beyond the arc lately. But then the other thing is, at least Duncan Robinson is out there. At least he's suiting up and he's trying. Good job, good effort. Even on the nights where Duncan Robinson goes 2 for 10 from 3 or 0 for 7 from 3, at least Duncan Robinson is suiting up. He's improving other aspects of his game. He's trying to help the team. He's actually trying to earn his $90 million long-term deal, whereas Will Fuller has accomplished less than me as a Miami Dolphin, and he's out there getting $10 million for the season. So that's the guy. Will signed his contract with a ski mask. That is a big-time grievance on my part. Now, another grievance is, I know Dolphin fans have been following this, and a lot of you are very upset at this. I've got maybe a slightly different angle on it. We all saw the announcement that the Miami Dolphins, they've got one Pro Bowler. Xavier Howard, the X-Man, is going back to the Pro Bowl, which is great. But you know who got excluded, who I feel absolutely deserves to be in, and that's Jalen Waddle. 3 games left to go this season. Jalen Waddle, who should be back this week, he missed the last game due to COVID, has an amazing 86 receptions for 849 yards, 4 touchdowns. He gets excluded from the Pro Bowl. People are very upset about it. Now, let's remember something, okay? The criteria for getting into the Pro Bowl, there's coaches, media, and fans. The fan vote is 1/3 of it, who gets into the Pro Bowl. So I've got to shift some of the blame here to Dolphin fans, because you guys needed to do a better job casting those votes, shouting it out from the mountaintops. And you know what I think happens here? I want to blame for this all the bickering that goes on between Tuanon and the Tua haters. Tua is the red herring. Tua is the great red herring in this equation, because if you guys follow Dolphin fans on Twitter, you listen to those dopey Twitter spaces where people are like ranting and raving about the Dolphins, and you're on message boards and stuff, all everybody's talking about is Tua, right? The Tua haters are all like, oh, this guy sucks. He can't throw the football down the field. He's too small to play. And the Tua stands, the Tuanon, they're all like, no, this guy's perfect. Everybody's trying to sabotage him. He's God's gift to the quarterback position. It's a lot like Republicans and Democrats. Like they spend so much time arguing about certain issues that you don't always see what's right in front of you. And what's right in front of you is, instead of bickering about Tua Tagovailoa, y'all should have gotten your asses up and been voting for Jalen Waddle to get into the Pro Bowl, and we wouldn't be in this situation right now, because the fan vote is a big component of it. So we fucked up this one, man. Dolphin fans fumbled the bag on this one. We dropped the ball on this one. So that's my grievance. I mean, honestly, with Jalen Waddle not being a Pro Bowler, he'll probably end up getting in as an alternate, because nobody really wants to go. So you know what's going to happen. People are going to decline the invitations. They're going to say, oh, no, I've got a hangnail. I can't go to the Pro Bowl this year. So they're going to get down through the year. He'll probably end up going, but not being voted in. We only have ourselves to blame for that, man. And yeah, I agree with David. Like he says, guys, Jalen will likely be in as a replacement, but it's not the same, damn it. It's not the same. Getting in as an alternate is not the same as getting voted in. So we have ourselves to blame for that. My final grievance before I read some of the comments here. Now, I've made a difficult decision because I didn't necessarily want to do a show tomorrow on Christmas Eve, but I'm planning on doing a short show tomorrow on Christmas Eve. So I don't know, maybe you guys are happy about that, or maybe you're like, damn, we got to watch this guy again on a holiday. Oh, I'm so sorry. But I do want to do a short show on Christmas Eve because I'm going to be bringing on tomorrow the preeminent expert on why Die Hard is a Christmas movie, because I feel very strongly about that. Die Hard is absolutely 1000% a Christmas movie. I don't care that it came out in July back in the 80s. Like that, if that's your argument against it, I feel really bad for you because you are mentally and morally bankrupt. If you think Die Hard coming out in July makes it not a Christmas movie, the movie takes place on Christmas. There are multiple Christmas references made throughout the movie. And honestly, it's not Christmas in my house until Hans Gruber falls off Nakatomi Plaza. Spoiler alert. It's not Christmas until that happens, man. So the people who are so miserable, they're like, no. Let me just watch Christmas with the Cranks for 1,000 times, and I'm not going to watch Die Hard this year. Get your act together. Die Hard is the quintessential Christmas movie, one of the best action movies of all time, and it absolutely is a Christmas movie. Absolutely. So anyone who thinks it isn't, that's a grievance. David gets it. Die Hard, Die Hard 2, Rambo, Lethal Weapon are Christmas movies. 1,000%, bro. I mean, just because there's not some cheesy made-for-lifetime love story, Die Hard is a bit of a love story, right? Because Holly Gennaro is back to being Holly McClane by the end of the movie. That is powerful. That is the power of love. So there is even some romance in Die Hard. There is. But just because it's not about, like, you know, a lot of your wives out there watch these ridiculous Lifetime movies where it's like, you know, the prince of some country you can't pronounce decides, well, I am going to find my queen here on this Christmas. And oh, here is a lovely, nerdy looking American tourist, and maybe I'll fall in love with her and she will live happily ever after. First of all, I get really annoyed in these sappy Lifetime movies where they always try to make like a woman who in real life is like a 10. Like they put glasses on her and it's like, oh no, she's nerdy and nobody wants to sleep with her. Like she looks like if I saw that woman walking down the street, I'd be like, wow, is she a model? And like, honestly, I think ugly people, like genuine ugly people, are underrepresented in Hollywood because they're always, and this is not just women, by the way, this is guys as well, because they're always casting the best, like 1% of good looking people on the planet. They cast them in Hollywood. It's like, here, put on a pair of glasses and we're going to pretend that nobody wants to be your friend and nobody wants to date you. When in real life, it's like, oh my God, that's the best looking person I've ever seen. Like, honestly, Hollywood should start casting people who look like me in movies. The world would be a better place if we did that, man. Ooh, I get myself worked up. Hold on. Hussam is in the waiting room. I just want to read a couple of these grievances that people were tweeting to me. Left Coast Kane tweeted to me, my Festivus grievance is taking 3 full seasons to fire Manny Diaz after we couldn't score on Louisiana Tech in a bowl game. And like 3 weeks before that, you lost to FIU. But now let's ride it out with this dude for 2 more full seasons and see how it goes. I like that one. Oh, man. Totti's armband, you know, a guy, Italian soccer fan. He's a Roma fan, Francesco Totti. He tweets, I have a problem. This is a great reference. For those who saw the episode, you know this. I have a problem. I was reaching for a doll for my son, and just at the same time, another man reached for the doll. There has to be another way. That's why we have Festivus for the rest of us. Vane Hype says, oh, this is like a reverse grievance. Like this person is really filled with holiday cheer. For the first time in a long time, every South Florida team looks to be on the up and up, and we're still doubting the work. I hope they prove us right for once and bring South Florida a championship in some sport. I still think the Florida Panthers would be the most likely to win that this year. I'm not sleeping on the Heat either because they've got like 7 undrafted guys on the floor. They're still winning games. So once the superstars come back, we're Gucci. Jason Sarney, who, by the way, is my diehard expert who's going to join tomorrow. He says, first to the national media, I got a lot of problems with you people. Sims, you wouldn't know a hot route on the field in the, I lost my train of thought. Oh man, Chris Sims, what a D-bag. Marla, tweeted to me, "Oh man, after waiting on hold for an hour plus, the pharmacy answered only to disconnect before I could speak." Oh, that's the worst. That happens to me all. I think they do it on purpose. Like I really think that always happens. Like I'm trying to call AT&T or something. It's like, oh, I'm so paid. I'm on hold for an hour, and then click. They always do that crap. She also writes, "My condo neighbors started a fire by grilling on the balcony, and I'm pretty sure that's not allowed. I live in a house, but I think in apartments you're not allowed to do that. They lied to the insurance and received lots of money, leading to a new car." Honestly, that sounds like a good hustle, but it's also fraud and it's illegal. But I'm kind of impressed and kind of appalled at the same time by your neighbors. Why do moviegoers shine their phone lights? She says. That's just because, cellular devices are an addiction. It's, there's no way you can disconnect. We're already plugged into the matrix, I think. Let's bring on our first guest of the day on what should be a busy, fun show. One of my absolute favorites, although I still love this man, even though when I was texting with you earlier, Hussam, and I know you're a very, very young guy, and this show is not necessarily part of your generation, but I was really disappointed when I said something about airing of grievances to you, and you're like, "What is that?" And then I'm like, "Oh, you must not be a Seinfeld fan." So it's like, oh, I don't have a whole lot of people in my life who aren't Seinfeld fans. Like, have you ever been tempted to get into it?
Hey, check this out. I got to give out Christmas presents to everyone down at the Kruger, so I'm pulling a Wiley.
Okay, so you've seen some Seinfeld then. Fair enough. Did you watch the episode today?
No, I just read it off on Google right now.
You had me
I
going.
have to get something
honestly,
going for you, Donno.
Honestly, I thought when you said that, I'm like, oh, he must have pulled up the episode and watched it today. But
it's the human fun, money for the people as in me. So, Brooklyn Rob, if you don't get mush, donate me $20,000.
Honestly, I feel like instead of losing so many sports bets, I should just give Hussam $20,000. Like instead of that's probably about how much I lose a year on my crappy mushed bets. So I should just give that money to Hussam.
Exactly, and I'll turn that into a sizable investment for the both of us, Donno.
Absolutely. You're gonna dial up the Nigerian prince who told you, hey, all you have to give me is 20 G's and your social security number. I'll give you 20 million right back.
It's actually a Zambian, and he's gonna need your Bitcoin address.
Oh man, now Hussam.
Times have changed, man. Come on.
That's a good point, actually. Times are like he doesn't even just want your address. Like he wants like the login codes to my Coinbase account. He's like, I'll handle it all for you. Don't even worry about it. Just give me all the info. Now you did promise us today on Twitter, in the spirit of airing the grievances. You told me you have a rant, so I want to give you the opportunity, sir, to deliver that.
And here's my rant. The Donno Daily show effing sucks.
Oh my God. What a swerve. I bring this guy on to insult me here.
No, I'm playing with you all love. But look, I got to rant a little bit about the Dolphins, man. Just of all the things that's happening to us right now, that if Jesse Davis wasn't so bad and didn't get Tua killed, would be right behind the number one seed for the NFL playoffs. If Tua didn't get hurt, we'd be closing in on the number one seed in the playoffs just right about now. But nope. We're the Dolphins. We can't have anything nice. We can't have Will Fuller when Jacoby Brissett absolutely shattered his finger. Can't have Will Fuller onto the field. Can't have anything nice. Couldn't have Jalen Waddle against the Jets. Now, COVID is hitting everybody hard, but so I am a little bit grateful the Dolphins are a bit disciplined. But then the media, man, you got to put the tinfoil hat on for this one, Donno. Grab the tinfoil hat. There we go. All right, Donno, I got to say something, man. I got to say something here. The media, the globalists, the capitalists, they're all in and on hating Tua Tagovailoa. Well, let me tell you this. The Illuminati, Tua and on, shifted the narrative. They shifted the narrative all on this. They gave Taysom Hill COVID, so the narrative would not be that Taysom Hill went toe-to-toe with our Lord and Savior Tua Tagovailoa.
And it's great. I'm glad you brought that up because I hadn't brought it up yet. That's big news today. And it's not just Taysom Hill. It's also Trevor Siemian. And the next
Trevor
man up,
Seaman?
isn't it Simeon? Is it Simeon or Simeon? I see what you're trying to do to me here, bro. Trevor Seaman, he's got COVID. Taysom Hill, he's got COVID. The next man up is Ian Book. This guy sucked at Notre Dame. And now the Dolphins get to go up against Ian Book, presumably. Okay, listen, I don't know. Between Thursday and Monday, I don't know how many guys might be able to clear the protocols, but we presumably
Drew
go
Brees
up.
is going to come back. I wonder if Drew Brees is going to
That would be honestly, that would be much better than Ian Book. Like if you told me right now, Drew Brees, a year into retirement is just going to off the street. I don't know what kind of shape he's keeping himself in. Like I don't know if he's probably a pretty diligent guy, but let's assume he's eaten a few pizzas, during his time in retirement. If you told me Drew Brees was just going to suit up cold, hasn't played competitive football in almost a year, he's going to suit up and start, I would be more fearful of that than Ian Book. Ian Book does not worry me in the slightest.
And you know what's crazy, Alex? Just going back to that media part. There was this national pundit, Jason McIntyre. I don't know if you've seen it or not.
I did see it, but I don't have it in front of me. So if you can find it, go ahead and read it.
They're basically saying that Miami has been lucky this year, especially with Ian Book now starting for the Saints, and how Miami has gotten lucky all year facing these backups. Well, the New England Patriots have basically a similar schedule to us. I don't hear anybody talking about Mac Jones and the Patriots getting lucky being the number 2 seed.
That's a good point.
9-5.
Hey, by the way, keep ranting for a second. Keep ranting for a second, Hussam, because I got to plug in my laptop. Hold on, I'm going to sprint. Keep ranting. I'll be right back.
I don't hear the Bills getting lucky. It's just this narrative has been just a little bit too overblown in my point. Where again, the globalists, the capitalists are all in on Tua and these Miami Dolphins. Now, I got to talk about another rant about this offensive line, how miserable it's been the past couple weeks, from beginning of season to now. But they've literally picked it up just a little bit. Liam Eichenberg, Austin Jackson, Michael Dieter, they've all, found some sort of consistency, albeit they're playing teams with defenses who are not the best. So maybe you can coin that as lucky, but it's still – they're NFL athletes, they're NFL teams, and it's the NFL. Any given Sunday, anybody can beat anybody. So it's not about being lucky. It's about being disciplined. It's about being consistent. So I don't want to hear these lucky takes out of big media or national pundits when they don't even watch the games.
Thank you. And, I caught the beginning and the end of that rant. I thought it was brilliant. Did any part of you think maybe I just wouldn't come back?
Yes.
How funny would that be if I just went
alone? Then Ethan would be calling. You'd be getting a call from corporate. Then Ethan would be texting me, Hussam, what the hell are you doing? We're about to get banned. The FCC is about to ban us.
I appreciate you holding it down, and you make some very good points there. And it's really obvious, Hussam, that a lot of these talking heads don't watch. One guy who I respect his pivot a lot because he's one of the few media guys who had a negative opinion on Tua, and kind of like I was, and I respect myself very much, had negative opinions about Tua and then allowed his opinions to evolve and change with new evidence, right? And I'm talking about Dan Orlovsky because I've seen
I knew you were going to say big boy Dan.
But and it's true, right? Because Dan Orlovsky, I can remember – especially throughout Tua's rookie year and probably the early parts of this year as well, was really picking him apart, was not sold on Tua, didn't really think he had the stuff to make it in the NFL. And now Orlovsky is putting out videos where he's positively gushing, and he did a great job. The most recent
video who else is gushing?
Who's
NFL
gushing?
Network analyst Brian Baldinger.
Baldy, he absolutely is. Although
who else is Peyton Manning.
Yeah. Yeah, Peyton Manning. I'm so glad because I forgot about that one. Even Peyton Manning is gushing.
That tinfoil
Yeah.
hat is not doing you any good. It's taking away your memory.
It's blocking out the signals though. Although I got to say, like, I appreciate Baldy's takes on Tua. Like, I spoke to Baldinger a couple of weeks ago. I interviewed him on a different platform, and this was the funny thing about it was this was literally 24 hours before
Were
Urban
you on
Meyer
that
got
Six
fired.
Reasons Sports Network platform by any
Yeah,
chance?
I was on the sixth I was on the sixth reason that day. No, and I was interviewing Brian Baldinger, and this was literally 24 hours before Urban Meyer got fired. And like I asked him, I'm like, hey, like, do you think Urban makes it through the season? And he was like, yeah, of course. Like, what are you talking? Yeah, and he even told me he thinks that Urban was going to coach through next season as well. And I'm like, okay. And then 24 hours later, you get shit canned. So I don't know if I trust Baldy's takes on like hot seats for coaches, but on Tua, he was spot on.
That makes me question some things now.
It does, right?
It makes me question some things. I mean, look, we've all said questionable things. We've all had questionable takes, but hey, roll with your punches. Roll
Yeah.
with your punches here and there. Is that eggnog, water, whiskey?
Oh, the water. I don't like
water?
eggnog. Do
It
you like
looks
eggnog?
like piss from here.
I mean, no, there's the cup has hold on, it's got little bananas on it, so this is sparkling water, sir. Perrier.
That's why it
Yeah.
looks like that. Well, I
Yeah.
just got beautiful Costco water right here.
Kirkland signature. That's the best
Exactly.
brand.
But Donno, but you got to tell me, besides the podcast, what are you doing for Christmas, man?
I am going to probably eat way too much food. It's going to be my wife, my kid, and I are going to be over at my parents' house opening presents, and and my kid is just going to be like opening everything and going. He's so spoiled, this kid. He told me, like, he actually told my wife and I he only wanted one thing for Christmas, and she still ended up getting him like 20 gifts. So he could have settled for one. He's getting like 20, so good for him.
I'm going to Universal.
Oh, that's solid. Are they super, like, on Christmas Day? Are they super busy? Probably.
I have no idea. I've never been. But tonight I'm going to try to watch A Good Day to Die Hard because that's the only one of the movies
Is that
on
the newest
HBO
one?
Max.
A Good Day. Is that the newest Die Hard? A Good Day to Die Hard?
No, I don't think so. I think that's the third one.
No. The third one is Die Hard with Vengeance.
I'm going to look it up. A Good Day to Die Hard.
Because I know, like, the most recent one I have not seen. Like,
it was the 2013 one, A Good Day to Die Hard. Yippee-ki-yay, Mother Russia.
I think that one might be the one that I haven't seen. I think that.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try to see that. Then rest up, go to Universal and Islands tomorrow.
Nice. Well, I know you're gonna have a good time doing that. A couple other things I want to get to with you before we let you run and start making your theme park holiday plans. We talked a little bit about this New Orleans game. It's still, we don't know who might be back for the Saints by then. We also, like, if it gets really bad, they might even postpone the game. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
0% chance that happens.
Yeah, you think so?
0%.
I mean, they have postponed some games though the last week.
They have postponed some games due to people begging, crying for the NFL to postpone it. But I think with the new COVID protocols they put in place, as we talked on last week's show, it prevents postponements.
Yeah, you're right. No, that's a good point. That's fair about that. But okay, so it's not going to get postponed. We all know if the Dolphins win out all their next 3 games, Saints at Titans, home against New England, if they win out, they've got a good statistical chance of getting into the postseason. If they do not win out, they need a Festivus miracle to get in. How do you think this plays out, Hussam? Because I got to be honest with you. For as much as I have pumped up Miami during this now 6-game winning streak, and for as many nice things as I've said about Tua and some of the other playmakers. Javon Holland came off the COVID list. He's back in practice today, which is very good. Like, I've been very complimentary of this team. It's so hard to close out a season on a 9-game winning streak. It's just so hard in this league to win that many games in a row, and no one in NFL history has ever started 1-7 and made the playoffs. And I know there's more games than there used to be, but it's so hard. I feel like they're going to stumble at least one of these final 3 games. What do you think? Do you think they stumble?
Well, if history repeats itself, that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
I learned that from J. Cole on one of his songs. I forgot the title, but if we look at how Brian Flores has really started off, he's been very slow starting, and then they get hot at the right time. And if I'm comparing last season to this season, it's almost it in a way it mirrors itself a little bit. They start off slow, get hot, and then lay an egg. Final game to get into the playoffs. This season, start super slow, 1-7, super hot now, 7-7. You have New Orleans, you have Tennessee, you have New England. You play in NOLA Monday night. You play at Tennessee, and you close out the season at home in New England. If history tells us anything, Miami's going to lay a stinker in one of these games to get to the playoffs. Now, will it be against New Orleans? That will hurt their chances. But if they do lose, it's not the biggest shot, but it is a shot. It's basically a shot to the guts. If they lose to either Tennessee or New England, that's a below the belt shot right there. So it's going to be tough. These are the Miami Dolphins, so they do hit us below the belt all the time. Now, it's Brian Flores, new Dolphins regime. Maybe they're not like that past Dolphins team, but we haven't seen that yet.
Now, let me ask you a hypothetical that I asked my viewers a couple days ago. If they win 2 out of the next 3, it would still be a fantastic way to close out a season, right? They'd be closing out a season with 8 wins in their final 9 games, right? They'd probably just miss the playoffs by 1 game, right? But if it played out that way, would you consider the season as a whole, if they go, what would that be, 9-8, and they miss the playoffs by 1 game, would you consider the season a success given how they fought back? Or are you like me and you would consider it a failure? Because I still go by my preseason expectation. My preseason expectation was 10 or 11 wins, playoffs. If they fall short of that, I call it a failure. What do you say?
I think, as the season goes on for everybody, the expectation changes because you finally see a product being put onto the field and you're like, okay, we need to level set these expectations 1 more time or 2 more times. And you see how the team changes. You see how the offense and defense changes. And, my preseason expectation was that they'll go 10-7, right? They can still get there. Will they? I don't know yet. If they go 9-8, that's 1 game short. Things happen in the NFL. So I'd be like, well, they came up short, but with the way how the season played, I understand it. And I'm like, okay, I measure it this way. Was the defense the same? Did they continue the same level of success in 2020? Did Tua improve? What did the offensive line look like? Is there better coaching and better development of these players? So you got to hold all these variables into account to make it a successful season. So, if Tua looks good in these last 3 games, if the defense holds well and some of these, younger players develop a little bit more along the line, then I would call it a bit successful, even though we missed on the playoffs.
Okay. Are you annoyed that we only have 1 Pro Bowler, at least for now? I know someone could get in later, but only 1 Pro Bowler voted, and that's X.
Pro Bowl is basically like high school SGA elections. It doesn't matter much.
Were you ever in student government in high school? Did you get elected for anything?
Nope, it was a sham.
Oh, that's a shame.
I saw right through it.
Oh man. All right. Well, listen. Of course you did, because you're I have a tinfoil hat, but you are Mr. Tinfoil Hat. So of course you saw through that sham. Hussam, let people know where they can find you. 5regionsports.com and Dolphins ATB. Did I get it right this time?
Yep, 5 reasons, Dolphins, ATB, and Fin Maniacs. I know Brennan will be here, my Fin Maniacs brother,
Yeah.
and podcast co-host too.
Oh, dude, that's fan. Hold on. Let me. He's already in the waiting room. Let me bring him on to say hi to you.
What's going on, buddy? What's going on, Usam?
Good, man. Good.
How's everything been? Good?
Good, man. Good.
Well, what are you doing, Brandon, for Christmas this weekend?
So this upcoming Saturday, I'll just be home, family, chilling. I'll be watching Christmas Day football, Green Bay Packers, Cleveland Browns, Indianapolis Colts, Arizona Cardinals to cap off Christmas night. I mean, what better way to kick off Christmas than, sitting back and watching 2 amazing football games to go along with Christmas Day basketball as well.
Yeah. Do you watch any holiday movies? Because we've been talking a little bit about whether or not Die Hard is a Christmas movie. I think it's the number 1 Christmas movie.
Me personally, Alex, the number 1 Christmas movie that I always watch around this time of year probably has to be The Polar Express. I mean, that's just been a movie that I watched since I was in, grade school. And, being 23 now, I that's kind of just like the movie that, around this time of year, that's the movie that I kind of sit back and relax and, just enjoy it really from start to finish.
Dude, that's fantastic. And just to give you a heads up, Brandon, Barry Barger's supposed to be hopping in a couple minutes. So when he does, I'll probably put you back in the waiting room and then bring you on right after. But he's not here yet. So
For sure.
I want to ask you, because we got the news that came out today. Your reaction to seeing all the COVID on the New Orleans Saints squad, and now how it looks like the Dolphins, instead of facing Taysom Hill or Trevor Siemian, they're likely going to be facing Ian Book, who I really don't rate very highly. Famous last words, because if I'm really the mush, he's going to end up burning us on Monday night. But this seems like an incredible opportunity for Miami.
This Monday night football game, Alex, just got a whole lot easier for Brian Flores' Dolphins. And remember, this is a Miami Dolphins team that is walking into this game this upcoming Monday night on a 6-game winning streak, And, the opening lines had the Saints as a 3-point favorite. But, I actually heard this quarterback COVID-19 news after coming out of the shower this morning. I really didn't believe that Taysom Hill and Trevor Siemian were both going to be placed on the COVID-19 list. But now the Dolphins, they have a wonderful opportunity on their hands this upcoming Monday night, and that's facing a quarterback who has yet to take a meaningful NFL snap, and that's former Notre Dame product Ian Book.
We're joined here by Brandon Ligori from FinManiacs.com. So what is now your expectation? You mentioned, the line is narrowing down, right? The Dolphins are getting a lot more respect, obviously, given what they're going up against. Do you think this is going to end up being our 7th straight dub?
Even though that the Dolphins will not be seeing both Trevor Siemian and Taysom Hill, you still have to worry about Mark Ingram, and you still have to worry about especially Alvin Kamara. I mean, this is a double duo running back that really could hurt the Miami Dolphins, but you have to give credit to their amazing defense that has been playing outstanding throughout this 6-game winning streak, even going back to this past Sunday's win versus the New York Jets, the way they were able to battle back from an early 10-0 deficit. When I was there inside the Hard Rock Stadium press box, I was sensing a lot of Dolphins fans were quite nervous because when the team was losing 10-0, you think Tua Tagovailoa and the offensive unit, they're not able to make a comeback like that. But, I was one of the very few people who the score this past Sunday could have been 17-0, and I would not have been worried. Yeah. I mean, I've just had a lot of trust in Tua throughout this 6-game winning streak, even when he came off the bench, dating all the way back to that November Thursday night football game versus Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, and the way he was able to be calm, cool, and collected and pick up a big-time, prime-time win. Listen, Tua deserves respect, and I don't know how long it's going to take for the NFL media to realize that. But if he walks into New Orleans this upcoming Monday night and puts up, a 200-plus passing yard game with 2 or more touchdowns, and the Dolphins walk out of the Caesars Superdome with a convincing victory to, move over the 500 mark for the first time since really their Week 1 win. I mean, what better way to do it 2 days after Christmas, knowing you're going to be facing now a rookie quarterback who is, like I said before, has yet to take a meaningful NFL snap. I mean, if you're a Dolphins fan, forget about Christmas being Saturday. I think really Christmas starts today.
Yeah, very well said, my friend. Very well said. And something I hope we could see trends like this continue. Man, I spent most of Monday's show just gushing over Duke Johnson, right? You know, I'm a big University of Miami fan, a big Dolphin fan. So seeing Duke back home, hearing the crowd at Hard Rock Stadium as they used to do like 8 years ago, chanting Duke, it warmed my heart. It truly did. 22 carries, 107 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. Both the touchdowns were really impressive, especially the second one. And man, his elusiveness, his decisiveness hitting the hole, some of the stiff arms, the broken tackles, like that was really an incredible performance. And the amazing thing about it was, Brandon, Duke Johnson's been in the league 7 years.
Correct.
He had never had more than 16 carries in a game before. People have always kind of pigeonholed him as, you know, like a receiver out of the backfield, you know, third down back. So he gets 22 carries. That's 6 more than he's gotten in any game in his NFL career. You see the results. But also, hey, this is a guy who's not been that consistent, or he wouldn't have been on so many different teams. Correct. Do you think he can sustain this level of play? Like, do you think Duke Johnson can be, at least for the rest of this season, Miami's #1 running back and keep producing results?
Well, I believe he does line up as Brian Flores' starting running back this upcoming Monday night in New Orleans. But, you know, keep in mind, he did this against a very bad Jets run defense, right? It's going to be very interesting now to see what he can do in the final 3 games of the regular season against really 3 good run defense in the Saints, the Tennessee Titans, and then closing out your 2022, or really opening the 2022 calendar year, but closing out your 2021-22 regular season schedule against the New England Patriots, who, you know, growing up watching them from, you know, Tom Brady all the way up until now with rookie Matt Jones, they've always had a dangerous front seven. So, you know, kudos to Duke Johnson for the way he was able to, you know, plow his way, scoring 2 touchdowns this past Sunday. But I want to see if this success and really this great story overall can continue. And, you know, let me see if Duke Johnson can prove a lot of doubters wrong come Monday night.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you got to remember, Alex, the Saints pitched a shutout against Tom Brady this past Sunday night. I mean, that was a wonderful game plan by the defensive coordinator, Dennis Allen, pitching, you know, shutting down Tom Brady, who I looked at it on CBS Sports HQ. The last time that Tom Brady was shut out, Nick Saban was the head coach of the Miami Dolphins, dated all the way back to 2006. So I'm not sure how many people knew that stat.
Damn.
Off the top of their head. But, you know, this New Orleans Saints defense is very, very scary. Now, if there are more names to pop up on the COVID list, and, you know, if those names are not able to play on Monday night, but, you know, we shall see. But, you know, right now the main storyline for this game is that the Dolphins are going to be seeing a rookie quarterback that many did not expect would ever see the field for Sean Payton's New Orleans Saints. So the line is definitely going to be pushed in Miami's favor now. But, you know, the line, the spread, the money line, that really does not matter. What matters is that this is a really good opportunity, like I had mentioned previously, for Brian Flores to really shut up, you know, the people that are really doubting and really not giving the Dolphins much of a chance this upcoming Monday night.
Hey, are you able to hang out in the back for like 10, 15 minutes? Because I got a couple more things I want to ask you, but I got to bring on here, and that's Brandon Ligori, by the way, from FinManiacs.com. I got to bring on my Santa twin. Look
hey, Alex, truthfully, so while I was waiting, I saw you had this on, and I went running into my closet. And this thing has lights and stuff, but I didn't have time to do the batteries and whatnot.
Oh, wow. Well, listen, you look fantastic.
I love the spirit. So do you, brother.
And you know what? You know what's funny? I'm actually I wore this T-shirt because you're coming on today. This is the Cobra Kai, because somebody pointed out to me after your appearance last week, has anyone told you look a lot like Johnny Lawrence, you know, from William Zabka, the actor who's in the new Cobra Kai series? You know, you look a lot like that dude. Somebody said that in the comments, like, oh, I got to wear my Cobra Kai T-shirt next time for Barry.
Oh, you mean the guy that's like in from the original, like he's one of the leads, right?
He's from the original, and he's in the new TV show that they do.
Oh, I thought you were going to say I looked like Ralph Macchio.
You don't know, is the thing.
Happy. Oh man, how you doing, man? You look good. I love, gosh, the hat.
Twins.
I mean, come on.
Barry Barger, by the way, yeah, he's been so money with us literally all season long, and everyone calls me the mush. Barry is the anti-mush from BetUS.com, and you guys know the deal, man. Full service sports book. If you haven't gotten into it yet, this is a great time to get into it because we got a ton of NFL games still coming up, bowl games going on, NBA. It's going to be crazy on Christmas Day. It's going to be fantastic. If you sign up with our code 5RSN125, you get 125% sign-up bonus. And I know, Barry, all the social accounts and everything and the whole video network that BetUS has, I've seen it very active this week.
It's been great. And also, like a couple of the campaigns, we tried to get this late bowl contest going. I've been pushing, and I don't know who couldn't get it done, but it's like, I'll do it. I'm not an IT guy, but I'll do it. But we have this thing. It's like, okay, so we got the Clash in Indianapolis. We've got so right now, one of our campaigns that we worked on that I was a big part of, you'll be able to tell why, because it's like, resolutions. It's like no drinking, no gambling, no football, no fun. Break them all for the last 15 bowl games, starting the 30th. So, yeah, this is a great time. And now we've got all the really good bowl games starting too.
Yeah.
And then all these playoff ramifications in NFL. And how crazy is the COVID going? Omicron, Zeta, Theta, Upsilon, whatever. I don't remember. I got blackballed.
Hey, and on that note, correct me if I'm wrong, because obviously we've been reading throughout the day about how much Omicron is going through the New Orleans Saints and how they've got their top two quarterbacks have it, and they're down to the third quarterback. Ian Book. I'm looking right now at the NFL page on BetUS, and I do not currently see that game on the board between the Miami Dolphins and New Orleans Saints. So let me know if I'm correct on that, and what do you expect?
I'm pretty sure you are, because so when you're going down to this third quarterback, so what was it? Was it Cleveland had Nick Mullen? They got him from this last week, the third string. I think it was Cleveland. They didn't have Baker. They didn't have Case King. Was that right?
They didn't have the butcher, the baker, or the candlestick maker.
But it did happen in the laboratory. Wait, I'm trying to think of one of the locations in Clue. Anyway, so when you go down the third string, a lot of these, it's a lot of ifs. Books can't even put their heads around it a lot of times. It's like, wait a minute, where's the public going to be? How much different is he going to be? Because when you're talking about the Saints, so it's the Saints, right? Taysom and is it Taysom that's out?
Yeah, it's Taysom Hill and Trevor Siemian.
And Trevor. Okay, that was the other one.
Yeah, they're down to Ian Book, former Notre Dame quarterback.
Boy, I don't even, man, that shows something, because usually I know all the quarterbacks. Ian Book, I don't know much about. I should have read the book. But so these guys, so one thing though with the Saints, they haven't had a great passing attack, with Taysom, but he can run. He's got such a fine bit of skills that he can do just about anything.
Right.
And so, if this guy's a gunner, it just doesn't have the weapons though. No. So, Miami should be sitting in a pretty good spot, right?
Yeah, and Miami had some COVID problems last week, and then knock on wood, because I know this stuff can change day to day. And it's funny because I was listening to some Dolphins-related podcasts that were produced yesterday, and yesterday they had no idea about any of this COVID stuff with New Orleans. So this can change one day to the next, right? But the Dolphins had some problems like last week without Javon Holland and Jalen Waddle, and they were down running backs, and they've got pretty much everybody back now.
Well, it's insane too. So I don't know. I don't know. So from one day to the next, they're having record number of COVID cases now with this Omicron in a lot of places, and it's insane because we're at the holidays. So this is where it's really going to ramp. It's going to spike, right? Because you're with family and everything. So that's the kind of crazy weird thing. Where does it go from here? How do the playoffs play out?
Yeah, and then I'll tell you another one. And this isn't really commentary on the NFL so much as it is on the general population. Another thing that's going on is I'm sure that there are some people out there who have Omicron, maybe with minor symptoms or asymptomatic, who are all finding out about it because if you want to fly anywhere for the holidays, you got to get tested. So a lot of people get tested like, oh my God, I also have Omicron.
Right. And I was looking at some of the travel numbers, and 2 years ago, it's almost the same. So it's ramped back up. Last year was like half. But from two years ago, I think it was 2 years ago. And so now it's back up to that. But with all these, with the qualifications, I mean, you have to get tested. You have to know you don't. Yeah. So that's a great point I didn't think of. That's when so many people are going, what? I can't travel? What's Omicron? What is that? Is that on Star Trek?
I live like a half mile away from a testing site, and just this morning, line of cars down the street. Like apparently, people are waiting 2 hours in my neighborhood just to get tested.
Oh my gosh, man, that's insane! And even at the pool down here, like they're requiring like the QR code. Like they want a QR code that shows down here in Costa Rica now, like that shows that you're vaccinated and whatever. And I'm like, but people that are vaccinated are testing positive. So it's like, I don't know where it's going. It's weird. So like, how does this season close? Both in college and pro. Yeah. So you had A&M. Was it A&M? Texas A&M. I think that pulled out. Yeah. So, and with the NFL, what happens with these? Like last week, those games, the Rams, 3 of them. It's like they don't want to cancel because I think they have a week they can put back the Super Bowl. I don't know, but that messes everything up. Think about your plans. You're getting off work, your reservations. How much of a mess does that on such a huge event make across the nation? So across the world, really, it's a strange deal. So on this kind of stuff, you need to be up to date on all this information. So at BetUS, that's one advantage too. On our Twitter, I mean, we're constantly at BetUS_official. That is constantly giving you updates on all this stuff, which is great because you need it, because otherwise you're speculating. Right now, everything's happening so quick and everybody's going down so hard. It's like, what? You flipping a coin? Yeah. I mean, kind of. I don't know. So another game I wanted to ask you about, and I know Dolphin fans are certainly going to be watching this one on Sunday at 1:00. Divisional matchup, Buffalo on the road in New England. Patriots 2.5-point favorites at home. Over under 43.5. You like anything here? Okay, so I listen to a few handicappers and a few guys for my fantasy football stuff and everything, and one of the guys I listened to put out New England -2.5, and like I'll bet his plays when I like them, but I don't like it. I don't. Okay, so Buffalo. I just gotta say that. Okay, so New England's got a really good team. They won 7 in a row. Okay, so then they got tripped by Indy, which last week that was a big one that I thought that came through. But Buffalo, they've got a lot better team than people are giving them credit for, I think. I just think it +2.5. I mean, at the least, why not tease it up? Do it. Tease it up. You're getting +8.5 on a 6-point teaser. Yeah. And tease the over. Then you only have to get over, 36. What is it, 42 now? 40.
Yeah, I think it was 42.5.
So over 36 and plus 8.5, if it's still 2.5. Boy, does that sound like a great team?
Yeah.
So the teasers, maybe that's the way to go right now because you've got a little leeway. And if it goes your way, then you're really looking good. I mean, some of these point swings have been like 6, 7, 8 points. Is it? It's insane. I haven't seen anything like it that I remember, Alex.
Yeah.
And then tonight's game too. I mean,
yeah, I was perfect. I was about to ask you about that. So let it rip, my friend, because we love to get these Thursday night picks in.
So last week I did pretty good on my my daily fantasy stuff, and Jeff Wilson Jr. he was a big part of it, and I don't think Mitchell's going to play again. Eli Mitchell, I don't know if you've got latest word, but I'm assuming he's going to be out. And Jeff Wilson's a great guy to play again in your fantasy or daily fantasy. And then the problem is, okay, so Titans, there's something wrong there, but they're getting back A.J. Brown and Julio, I think, right? I think they'll have them both this week. And so it's just that San Fran has really been on fire, man. And George Kittle is such a beast, man. It's awesome to watch that guy play football and talk about it. I mean, it's so cool.
He's old school, man. I love his attitude.
He's just like, and he's so down to earth, too. Yeah. So he throws it out, but he's just, I mean, to see him truck over guys time and time again, it's really pretty damn cool, man. He's the best tight end in football this year. I mean, if he's healthy, he's unstoppable. That dude is a freight train. And then Deebo Samuel playing, I think he might lead the team in rushing touchdowns as a wide receiver. I don't know if that's ever happened before for a team. Yeah. And but I mean, I got to say that that 49ers should take care of business here. And with all the stuff going on, I hate to take like big, strong sides, but this is even with A.J. Brown and Julio Jones back, it looks like Tennessee is struggling. They just don't look like they look. Early in the year, I had a lot of confidence in them. Now, Indy really looks like a great team now, right?
Oh, absolutely.
They've been on fire. I think I have number 5 in my power rankings, number 6, something like that. But they've really, they beat New England last week, and I thought they would. But they've really come. But Tennessee has kind of gone down a little. San Fran's going up. So I'm going with the trends here. And even though they're getting the receivers back, I got to say, man, San Francisco's just – they're too strong. And Jimmy G's actually, he's not doing a bad job. And his weapons around him are helping him a lot, man. I mean, just throw it to Kittle 3 yards and watch him run for 50
exactly.
Every time. Hand it off to Deebo, watch him run for 50 every time.
Yep.
But I mean, that's good. But Miami, I mean, don't you think Miami is in a good position this week?
Very good position.
Going back to that game real quick, the more I think about it, I'm just like, wow, I should have gone deeper into that game because the more I think about it, the more that's a really strong play as soon as the line comes back out. Mm-hmm. Unless it's like Miami minus 30. I bet US, I don't think they go to 30, but
if it was like Miami minus 2.5, I'm all over
it. Yeah, right? Yeah, for sure, man. What's like I told you, so I'm hearing vacuums in the background. Sorry if you can hear it.
No, I can't.
I told you we got to renter my condo, so I'm bouncing out here. So that's why I'm like, sorry, Alex. I'm so glad I was able to make this happen because I'll have to tell you off air some of the highlights.
I'd love to hear
what
it.
happened here.
Well, listen, I can't tell you how much I appreciate your time, especially this time of year. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to you and yours, Barry. Thank you so much for joining us.
Merry Christmas, happy holidays to you and all your peeps, man. This is best time of the year. Can't wait. Love it. Love the hat.
Enjoy all the chaos. Yeah, I love it. We're twins.
Yeah, right. Enjoy the chaos. What can you do? Enjoy the chaos.
We'll talk to you next week, Barry.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Alex.
Oh, love it. Barry Barger. betus.com. What a mensch. Hold on. Let me bring in Brandon Ligori back in the fold.
I don't have a Santa Claus hat that I was able to go run and put one on. But
how dare you?
I'm here though. Let's go, man.
Yeah, I was digging through the closet and I found it. So you were the one who alerted me this morning or earlier this afternoon that the Javon Holland is back in practice. He's off the protocol, and it was weird. Like last week, how he was like off the protocol, even though he was still testing positive. Then he's back in. It was kind of a mess, but just. How essential is he going to be in this game, Brandon? I mean, the Dolphins may do without a couple of important players against the Jets, and I know that the Saints, especially on offense, are going to be really shorthanded, but I think it could still be a close game because the Saints' defense is really good. Like, how big can a guy like Javon Holland be?
Huge. I mean, really, especially when knowing that you're going to be facing, like I had mentioned previously, a rookie quarterback who's never taken a meaningful NFL snap. I believe Ian Book took some snaps, during the exhibition schedule, but when it came time to actual meaningful football, it was between Jameis Winston, Trevor Siemian, and Taysom Hill. I mean, having a guy like Javon Holland back, who's been really the focal point for Josh Boyer's defense, it's literally huge. I mean, to get a guy back like him, and also let's also not forget to say Jalen Waddle, who missed last week's game as well. He's off the COVID-19 list and he's activated. So let's hope that these guys can stay healthy from today all the way up until early Monday morning. But it definitely expects both Javon Holland and Jalen Waddle to be in the lineup come Monday night.
Should Jalen Waddle have gotten into the Pro Bowl?
Should Jalen Waddle have gotten into the Pro Bowl? I mean, based off the names that I looked at, I could, kind of understand why he might have gotten snubbed. I mean, Devontae Adams is literally one of the best receivers in this game. The chemistry with him and Aaron Rodgers on a consistent basis, making critical third down catches, the way he's able to separate off the line of scrimmage. I mean, there was, I believe 90 or 95% of the time, the Ravens last week were double covered. They were literally putting two defenders on Devontae Adams. I mean, he's that good. Jamar Chase, what a season the rookie from LSU has been having. Seeing those names on the list, Alex, I mean, it really doesn't surprise me as to why Jalen Waddle got snubbed. But, just because he didn't get nominated to come to the Pro Bowl and play with the best of the best around the NFL world, really around the globe in general, there's nothing for Waddle to hang his head down. I mean, this guy's been an absolute stud for Chris Grier, for Brian Flores, and really for Tua Tagovailoa's offense.
Yeah. Brandon Ligori from Fin Maniacs is with us here on Donno Daily on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. What are you expecting from these final 3 games? Win all 3, they're probably in. Lose one of the next 3, more than likely out. Do you think that they pull it off? Can they really close out the year on a 9-game winning streak?
Today's December 23rd, and, Christmas is 2 days away. New Year's Eve is next Friday. But I'm here right now. Brandon Ligori is saying that Brian Flores' Miami Dolphins will run the table, will finish the season 10-7, and will likely clinch one of those 3 wild card slots. Hey, maybe something dramatic happens with the AFC East and the Dolphins end up going above both New England and Buffalo. I mean, that might be kind of hard to do just because Buffalo defeated Brian Flores' Dolphins in both head-to-head meetings this season. But like I said, expect this team to run the table, especially if the Titans are not able to get back Derrick Henry for next week's game. But again, I don't want to talk too crazy. I just want to focus on this upcoming Monday night with the New Orleans Saints at the Caesars Superdome, with the line really now expecting to favor Brian Flores' Miami Dolphins.
Yeah. Oh, and talk to me a little bit about Tua. I know we've spoken about Tua before the last couple times I had you on. Last week, not his best game, right? I mean, there was some good and some bad. I love when he turned on the truck stick to run over Michael Carter. The throw he made to Devontae.
Who didn't like that play?
Oh,
who didn't like that play? Whether you're a guy like Omar Kelly, who I have the uttermost respect for, but if you're a guy like Omar Kelly, who really is Tua Tagovailoa, let's face it, it's not Omar Kelly's favorite quarterback in the National Football League. But whether you're a guy like me or a guy like Omar, you definitely enjoyed that play. And I'm sure if you're able to grab Omar on one of the Donno daily shows and ask him, I'm sure he would definitely agree with me, because 99.9% of the spectators at Hard Rock Stadium that day, they weren't expecting Tua Tagovailoa to make a play happen like that. I mean, you can see when he did that, the offensive line, really Robert Hunt especially, you can just see the momentum was really changing in Miami's favor, even when they were down 10-0 and 17-7. Yeah. But a play like that, you'd be very surprised. A single play like that can really boost your offense. And, it showed when the Dolphins were able to come back from 2 10-point deficits and really walk away with a 31-24 win, a huge win to keep their slim playoff hopes alive and, live on for another week.
I love it. I absolutely love it. By the way, I've noticed the last couple times we spoke, you had different artwork behind you. It was like a table with some fruit. Did you rotate the paintings, or are you in a different part of the house?
No, I'm honestly I'm in the same part of my house. I'm in the dining room area. I want to say my dad, I believe, bought this picture.
Wow.
They had put it on the wall. Really, I honestly couldn't even tell. I mean, you were able to point that out before I even noticed it. Because but you are 100% correct. The last time I was on this show, there was a picture of, I believe, an apple, grapes, oranges.
So I was just wondering, I didn't know if you moved or if the paintings moved. So,
is your the same? I mean, I'm in this first chair in the dining room area. I'm in the same spot. So.
Does your family, do you collect art, or, just every now and then you're like, I want to be able to make the house look nice? Because I notice a lot of people, and digital art is obviously big, NFTs, but a lot of people are also buying actual tangible art now, because that always goes up in value the way that NFTs, of course, go up in value. So it seems honestly like something I should probably get into, and I probably never will.
Honestly, Alex, my dad and his wife, they're both really into art. So whenever I guess just, a cool painting attracts them both, I guess, hey, let's, bring it home.
I love it. I love it. Bring it home. Well, listen, I appreciate you bringing home some very good content. Let people know, man, where they can find all your work.
So to find my work, you can go to finmaniacs.com, or if you want to follow my personal Twitter account, you guys see it on the screen here, at capital B with lowercase RANDON, capital R and capital L, and then my entire last name. I have a link on there called Muckrack. I know you and I briefly talked about it. It has all my articles posted from when I was at college at Florida Gulf Coast University, all the way up until, I believe, my latest one, which was how the Dolphins were able to escape Hard Rock Stadium this past Sunday and secure their 6th consecutive victory. Alex, as always, thank you for bringing me on. Happy holidays to you and your family. Hope you guys enjoy it. Be safe. Make smart decisions, whether that's betting, whether that's whatever you got going on this weekend. Just make sure it's smart.
Well, real quick, I had a question for you, because you mentioned you went to FGCU. Mm-hmm. I've never been on the campus before, but I've heard, is it true that there is a lazy river on campus at Florida Gulf Coast?
There's not a lazy river, but there is a mini beach, and I'll put that in. I'll quote it. So I dormed in this village called North Lake Village from my sophomore year until my senior year. When I literally walked outside, you maybe take 15, 20 steps, and you look, and it's a beautiful, gorgeous beach. It's not like your everyday Hollywood, Fort Lauderdale, Los Olas beach, but it's a nice beach if you want to, just decompress and study for midterms or study for final exams. But it's funny too, because I've been thinking about Florida Gulf Coast recently. I miss the just the little moments that I had there, but it's just amazing how 4 years of college literally flew by, and finally having a bachelor's degree that I've always dreamed of. Yeah. Now finally having it in my pocket is really, really special.
Yeah, man, it's crazy, because I graduated Miami almost 15 years ago, 2007, and I still sometimes I will have dreams where I'm going to class and taking quizzes, and it's I'm like an old man now. I'm 37 years old. I've been out for 15 years. I'm still having weird dreams where I forgot to study for a quiz. So it's great. You'll never forget those days, man. You're
No.
not as far removed from it as I am, but in like 12, 13 years, you'll be having weird dreams about it like I do.
Hey, but what I have been hearing though, I've been hearing the men's basketball team has been doing really, really well. I believe they lost yesterday in overtime, but I believe they're off to a 10-4 start, if I'm not mistaken, which is their best start. So, kudos to them. I personally know some of the guys on the men's basketball team, so I do wish them the best of luck come ASUN play, and hopefully they end up making another shocking March Madness run.
That would be awesome.
That
was one of the most entertaining teams ever a few years back when they got in.
Who would have thought a 15-seeded Florida Gulf Coast team would, shock Georgetown at the time with Otto Porter and really shock San Diego State? And really, I believe anchors on SportsCenter did not even know how to pronounce Florida Gulf Coast. I mean, they didn't even know it was an actual legitimate Division I college.
That would be cool, man. Hey, Brandon Ligori, I appreciate your time. Everyone, check him out. You see the Twitter handle. Check out his work at finmaniacs.com as well.
Thank you, guys. I really,
Brandon, thank you so much, man. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas to everybody in your life.
Merry Christmas to you guys as well. Thank you again.
Awesome. I love it. Good stuff there from Brandon Ligori. I had promised as part of the title for this episode an Eric Spoelstra Love Fest. And bro, it's like, I don't know if it's because I'm filled with holiday cheer, and I unburdened in the first part of the show, because the first part of the show, we were doing the Festivus airing of Grievances, and I complained about Will Fuller stealing money. I complained about people who don't believe Die Hard is a Christmas movie. I hope all of you reevaluate your life decisions if that's the way you feel, because Die Hard is absolutely a Christmas movie. And it's like, I started talking about this a little bit yesterday. There are fewer of these people than ever, because you have nothing to hide behind now. But anybody out there, a self-proclaimed Miami Heat fan who still doubts and hates on Eric Spoelstra, who hurt you? I mean, you look at what the Heat have been doing for these past several games. You do realize that 7 of the 10 players Miami had available in the 2 previous games before the Indiana game, 7 out of their 10 players were undrafted. And these guys are pulling W's out of their you-know-what. It's just unbelievable. And something you have to kind of do a paradigm shift when you evaluate the way that this team has played, during this time when they've been without Bam, without Jimmy. They were without Tyler for a couple of games, without PJ Tucker last game, without Markieff Morris for like the last 20 games, and even, a guy who is a two-way guy, undrafted guy, Caleb Martin, was really good before he got COVID. He's been out recently. Despite missing so many players, the Heat are still winning games, that they're not supposed to win. And it's like, even when they go up against teams like Detroit, who did beat them over the weekend, and they're going to get the rematch coming up here, and I think the Heat will probably win the rematch, but Detroit did quote-unquote shockingly beat the Heat. People weren't expecting the Heat to blow out Indiana the other night the way that they did. And it's like, you're looking at these games against teams that are subpar or bad, and you're like, okay, well, Miami should probably win these games. Well, you got to remember, when Eric Spoelstra is putting out lineups with 7 of 10 guys undrafted, like, we're not talking about guys who have never been all-stars or weren't first-round picks, 7 of 10 undrafted, and yet teams like Detroit is bad. Detroit is a bad team. Before they beat Miami, they were on a 14-game losing streak before they broke the slump against Miami. And it's like, well, on paper, Detroit has more drafted players with better credentials than Miami. So really, you kind of should have lost that game, and you shouldn't be winning the games that you're winning. So it's really unbelievable. And I was reading a good piece today. Actually, it was at MiamiHeat.com on one of the big adjustments that the Heat have made, during this time when they have so many important players away, specifically Jimmy and Bam. During the earlier portion of the season, when most everybody was healthy and available, and Jimmy and Bam were both playing, the Miami Heat, they were winning games. They were atop the East for a while, but their 3-point rate was number 20 in the league at 35.8%. So 35.8% of the team's field goal attempts were threes, which was bottom half of the league. A big shift that they've had to make during this time when you don't have guys who can drive into the paint and create their own shot as much. Obviously, if you can, Tyler Hero, Kyle Lowry occasionally can, Max Strus, okay, but you don't have superstar players in there, and you've got to rely more on the outside shot. The Heat now are number 2 during this stretch in the NBA. 45.1% of their shots are from three. They're only behind the Utah Jazz. And relying so much on the three, we talk about you live by the three, you die by the three. The Detroit game was an exception, but for most of these games, they have not only been living but thriving on the three because they've been hitting 40.7% of their three-point shots during that stretch. So 45% of their offense is coming from three-point shots during the stretch without Bam and Jimmy, which is very heavily relying on the three, but they're also making just under 41% of them. And that's despite the fact that, a lot of Lowry's three-point shooting nights have been poor. He went 0 for 5 the other day. Duncan Robinson was really good against Indiana. He went 6 for 10, but the game prior to that, he went 2 for 10 from three. So despite the fact that a couple of players here and there are having awful three-point shooting nights, the Heat are picking that up from other places. I mean, PJ Tucker, before he was hurt recently, was really picking up his three-point shot, shooting at a career percentage. We see what Max Strus is doing out there. Udonis Haslem hit a three the other night. Tyler Hero is hitting his threes. Gabe Vincent. I mean, it's KZ Okpala is hitting threes now. It's really been a marvel to watch, man. So I don't want to hear people doubt Eric Spoelstra again. Whether you credit it to Heat culture, which is a real thing, or you just credit it to the fact that you've got a coach who has multiple solutions to problems. This guy is not a one-size-fits-all coach. Eric Spoelstra is not the type of coach that says, I've got a certain formation, a certain tactical style, and if I don't have players to fit into that, hell, I'm going to try to put the square peg into the round hole. That's not Spo can adjust to any situation. This guy could coach a superstar-laden team to multiple championships. This guy can also coach a team where 7 out of 10 players on some nights who are in the rotation on the floor are undrafted guys, former G Leaguers, 10-day contract guys now because you added one of those in Zillin Cheatham, former two-way guys, current two-way guys, guys who essentially are summer league type of players, and he's still producing victories, and you're still looking like one of the most formidable teams in the NBA despite missing your best players during this stretch. That is the Eric Spoelstra love fest. I really love what he's been producing, man. And I loved the show that we had today. I got to send out some thank yous and some shout outs because it really was a tremendous time that I had today. Brandon Ligori, thank you so much for joining us. Barry Barger from BetUS.com, thank you so much for joining us. I mean, Barry's making us money, man. It doesn't get any better than that. Barry Barger from BetUS.com. Make sure you sign up with our, let me find the right, I pulled up like every possible slide except there it is, BetUS. Make sure you sign up at BetUS.com, full service sportsbook. Sign up with our code 5RSN125, and they're going to give you a 125% sign up bonus. And yes, you can play in Florida. You bet, you win, you get paid. BetUS.com. And make sure you support our official sports bar, the Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill. They support us, so please support them. In fact, I've got another show coming up tonight, 6 o'clock. I'm going to be hosting 5 rounds. Frank Zaffrey, my co-host tonight. James Walker also co-hosts with us, but he's traveling for the holidays, so he can't make it tonight. But Frank Zaffrey and I, we are hosting 5 rounds tonight. Combat Sports Talk, MMA and Boxing, 6 p.m. tonight here on 5 Reasons YouTube. We are going to be talking about my guy, Tyron Woodley, getting slept by Jake Paul. Tyron Woodley took a dirt nap over the weekend. Oh, man, we got UFC fights to talk about from last week. Derek Lewis was just incredible with his knockout of Kyle Dawkins, and Cub Swanson was awesome on that card. So there's some really good stuff to talk about tonight. Some big storylines in MMA. Chael Sonnen arrested. Who is Jake Paul calling out now because he wants to fight more UFC guys. He wants them to come over and box him on Showtime. This is going to be a really good show tonight, 6 o'clock. Frank Zaffrey and I are going to host 5 rounds on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. If you guys follow me on Twitter at Alex Donno, you see the handle right there on the screen. Follow me there on Twitter. I will send everybody the show link so you can join us in less than 2 hours, 6 o'clock tonight on 5 rounds on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Let me throw some shout outs to those who joined us today. David, always appreciate the kind words, David. And I know David is a big Seinfeld fan, so I'm hoping he and some of the rest of you appreciated the whole Festivus exercise that we had early in the show. Devin Jordan, thank you so much. He says, mark my words, Dolphins will make the playoffs. Estefan, thank you so much. And yeah, I had to bust out the Santa hat today. It's so hard to grab things when you're looking at yourself on this image because it's like a mirror image. Whew. Had to bust out the Santa hat today. It was wonderful. Doug E. Fresh, love it. And yeah, he's right. Peyton Manning was very complimentary of Tua. Roxanne, put on the red light. Roxanne, thank you so much, Roxanne. They just hate that we got a real quarterback. What about all those years where we had the hardest schedule with Ryan Tannehill? They hate us because they ain't us, Roxanne. They all want to live in Miami, but only we can. Only we are allowed to live here. Zachary B., thank you so much for joining in. He says Dan Orlovsky always loved it. I remember Orlovsky saying some stuff last year that wasn't too complimentary. Andrew Harris, thank you so much. My guy, Brooklyn Rob, who says I mushed the Panthers. I did say the Panthers are the most likely South Florida team to win a championship soon. So sorry, Florida Panthers. I think I mushed you. I've already mushed them enough this season. I think I mushed them again. Hussam Patel, who also joined us today. The Hallmark movies. Oh, did I say Lifetime? Yeah, Lifetime movies, Hallmark movies. It's all the same, bro. It's all the same. I was talking about the Hallmark Christmas movies. Andy in Scotland, thank you so much for tuning in from across the pond and all over the world because he travels all over the world and listens to us, watches us from everywhere. We cannot thank you enough for that. And anybody else I may have missed, thank you so much for tuning in. And by the way, guys, before you go and before I go, please, if you want to do us one favor, the only Christmas gift that I ask of you is, if you haven't already, please smash the like button. There's a little thumbs up button on YouTube. Hit that thumbs up. And also, if you haven't already, hit the button that says subscribe to the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Because if you support our show, it helps us grow with that like button and the subscription. And it also helps the entire 5 Reasons Sports Network grow, because there are so many hardworking, driven individuals who work for this network and are making their bones in the broadcasting business and the digital media business. And man, I want to make this a better place for everybody. I've been in this business for a while. I'm almost 40. I'm a man. I'm almost 40. We got people in their early 20s. And in Brady Hawk's case, it's a goddamn teenager. It's like 18 years old. We got people making their bones in the content business. And I want you guys to help me make it a better place for everybody on this network. So make sure you smash the like button and subscribe. We will talk to you guys again. I am going to do a quickie tomorrow. It's going to be around 4 p.m. I will tweet out all the details. We're going to talk about whether or not Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Spoiler alert, it is. We will talk about it tomorrow with Jason Sarney from FinManiacs.com. We will talk to you guys then. Everyone have a wonderful holiday season. Ciao.